Hello and welcome back to Clanfolk as we approach the beginning of the dreaded winter. Now, as things stand, as we previously said, we've got a good amount of food in stockpile. Things are relatively warm for now, although we're going to experience quite a bit colder weather as things go forward, so we'll just have to see kind of how we can manage to get around that. We managed to get at least our tiled peat stove out. It does mean that part of our building material, which are obviously these dry peat bricks, we're going to start using them for fuel as well. So that is going to cut down the amount of building that we can do, and the amount of time we have to harvest them is going to go up. But that's not a problem, because we'll be able to use that to try and keep this area nice and warm. We've got this little bit here as well that it manages to get a little bit warmer just as time kind of progresses, because we've got these curtains here. Normally when you have things like doors, I don't think I really explained this before, so I'll explain this now. When you have things like doors, they manage to block heat coming in and out of that area, whereas these curtains do not. They allow the heat to pass through. Strangely enough, these critter doors don't stop heat from passing through, but I guess it would be a bit too much if they did. So I guess it's just something you have to do for the sake of gameplay. But as things go on, we are still currently working on this little area here. We have Trader that's managed to come around, and he does have with him some iron ore, so we're going to buy that. That's very, very good for us. Good amount of iron ore. We do also need these stones, and they're fairly cheap. What could we sell for some money back? We do have quite a few hens. This one is nearly elderly, so you know what? We're going to sell one of them. We'll just get a little bit of money from that. How are our ewes doing? They're doing all right. We could sell our iron peat spade. That is worth 65. We could make another one with the iron that we've got, but I'd rather maybe keep a hold of that. That's quite an expensive piece of kit. You know what, we will sell a couple of these branches that we have collected. We can always get more of them by chopping up some of our logs, which gives us a good amount of coin. He really likes those branches for some reason, but hey, that's good for us. We'll sell that on. Unlock the tile roof. Tile roofs are really nice because they're not flammable at all, unlike things like your wooden roofs or your thatch roofs. Thatch roofs luckily are pretty low flammability, so they're not really going to be affected by things like fires. But it's just something to keep a wee mind of. Right now we currently have this thatch roof over our fireplace that could be a little bit dangerous, that could go on fire. We might try and replace that with a nice little stone roof when we get a wee second. But as it stands, we'll keep it going for now. Got a little bit of reputation as well, so whenever you trade with a clan, they get a little bit of reputation. So we can see here that when it comes to our various reputations with the clans, they're not particularly great, and I think that's because with a lot of them, I mean with McCall, it's alright. We've managed to sell a little bit, and it just depends on how much you're trading. Unfortunately these dry hides have gone rotten. That is a shame, but yo, what are we going to do? As it comes to our little guys, or I would normally say colonists if it was RimWorld, but I guess our clan members, we can see here that we're having a little bit of issue when it comes to warmth, but whenever they get too cold, just come in, sit by the fireplace, and that'll keep things nice and toasty, at least for the meantime. The biggest thing that we're going to have to do is I think we'll probably try and get this workbench done, we'll get the kitchen done, we'll get this whole kind of area done as quickly as possible. It'll be quite cold in here. As you can see here, it's currently, well, it's still connected to the outside, so it will be quite cold. But if we look at something like our little area over here, this is actually about 0 degrees, which is warmer than outside when you take the wind chill into effect, but something to keep in mind. Interesting enough, you can see here that because the wind chill is coming this way, in here, the wind chill is less. So depending on your sort of walls and such, they can actually kind of protect you from the wind chill as long as you're kind of, even in not a completely covered area, in a slightly covered area, that will help you just a little bit. And we managed to bring a new idea to the table, an ironclad door. I don't think we have enough iron to really kind of cash out on that, but we shall see. The main thing is we're kind of getting this nice little stone pathway all around our area here that's really going to help improve our people's movement speed, especially when things start to get a bit snowy, and that's going to slow them down just ever so slightly. As you can see, the snow is starting to come down pretty harsh. Yep, and there it comes. Pretty bad, pretty bad. But you know what, it's just going to cover the whole landscape in a little bit of white. When you do get the bad snows in Scotland, it does get very snowy. Obviously not as bad, or at least certainly not as regular as a lot of parts in Europe, but or at least sort of more down the southern part of Scotland. The northern part obviously is still pretty bad, but hey ho. And with that, we have managed to unlock new things. So we've actually managed to unlock a chamber pot, which is great. So we're going to make a few of them in our little kiln here. I'm going to use that to build up here as part of a basic need. Our lovely little toilet here. this is going to be the toilet for these guys here. It means that we're not going to have to go all the way out to our little outhouse over here in order to use the loo. We can just go straight up to the toilet there. That's going to be a big, massive help for keeping people warm, 2, keeping them a wee bit happier, because they do dislike just pooping in a hole. Alright if you're camping, but if you're subsisting on it, yeah, nah, you prefer not to. To be brutally honest. Alright, so we have actually managed to get this place here done. I'm actually going to say, hey, get these logs done quicker, if you guys don't mind. Because we've got a nice little log wall all the way around, nice big thatch roof. Just replace these here. There we are. Excellent. Alright, so that means now the room is enclosed. It's still cold. That's alright, we can deal with that. It just means that people are less likely to have to run out, because even though it is cooler than, say, like our main room, it's not as cold as it is outside, especially when you take things like the wind chill into effect. What we'll do actually is we're actually going to store up our closing area, and we're going to put it in over here as well. We could think about putting a torch up somewhere. Torches are good because they'll obviously give you light when things start to get a little bit darker. And if you, so with a normal wall torch, it does throw sparks. That's not going to be very good for where we are here. Could get an iron one and just put that in there. They'll give a little bit of light for anybody who's, say, working in here when things start to get a little bit darker, sort of when we're coming into dusk, or if we're doing it in twilight. Henry, you know what? We'll actually rent you a bed, because even though we have 190 coins, I would like some more if we can possibly help it. I think that'd be a good wee thing for us to do. We do need more beds, is the only thing, so something to think about, because we don't actually have a little sleeping spot for him at the moment. So, you know what, let's just say, hey, you can sleep in here with the animals. You're not going to enjoy this very much, but at least you'll be able to sleep somewhere. We could always say you could sleep in this room here, in like almost like a little dormitory, which might be a better option, actually, now I'm thinking about it. So yeah, let's maybe just say, hey... Ah, he's actually nicked somebody else's bed. Oh well, you know what, this is the things you get for being a guest. You at least managed to get a nice little bed here. So, and also he's not disturbed by noise, that's good. That's going to improve the satisfaction that he gets, so he's well fed, decently happy. How are you guys over here? Yeah, you're doing alright, you're managing to sleep pretty well. You've got at least got a private room, even though there is multiple people in here. There's obviously the baby and the 2 of them. It's still a private room because they're husband and wife, and the baby is obviously theirs. So, quite happy, getting a lot of sleep thanks to that, which is always good. And we'll probably try and upgrade these sleeping mats when we can to the better versions, so, which will be good. So yeah, we could always put up this straw bed here. We have enough planks, so let us break down these 2 beds here. Should we break that down? Let's not break it down. Let's store it for moving. We'll not put it anywhere yet. We'll wait till Hutchinson's finished his little nap there, and then we'll move the bed over. Now, we could build ourselves a tailor's bench, which I don't think is a bad idea, so let's do that as well, just so we can get some more crafting going. Put it in our little kind of crafting area for just now, as we've managed to make our way through another night. We can see here that the number of days of food has dropped down quite dramatically. That's because we've got an extra person here, we've got this visitor here. So, it's alright to do for just now, because it's kind of near the start, we've got a decent amount of food, we've still got a decent amount of animals. If we are going to struggle, which we very well might do during the winter, we'll have to just stop accepting guests. We might have to slaughter an animal or 2. But fingers crossed it won't come to that. Now, we're out of iron. We managed to buy a little bit there. It's always good. There's a fox there. I'm not happy with you. Let's get rid of him, please, somebody. Thank you very much. Oh, there's a wee kid. Oh, I guess that must be a trader coming in with a kitten. Oh, okay. I mean, a kitten could be good for a rat problem. We don't want anything eating up all of our stuff. So we could always... Could always do that. Grab that. Certainly don't think it's a bad idea. Nice little kitty cat to keep the rats away. Keep them off our grain. Meanwhile, for wee Hutchinson, he's just going around here, he's just hauling all day, every day. Because we did set that to be quite high for him, but the main thing is that we've actually managed to get through some of these tasks. Obviously, we're not having very much to do with, like, say, like farming or gathering stuff, because nothing's really growing just now. We could gather some more branches. We've got a decent amount at the moment. Our straw levels are actually looking pretty good, which is good for the first winter. Usually that's where you're going to have a bit of an issue. Yeah, we can get a wee male tomcat. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Why not? We can also get some neeps. Yeah, let's get some neeps. Now we can get some roasted neep. A neep lantern kit. I haven't seen that before. Maybe that's one of the new ones. Could sell our wee piglet, given that, but I think it's probably more useful to just keep that for meat. How is our rooster and pula doing? They're doing all right. Could sell our axe for a big chunk of money. We are a little bit low on money. We did suspend some on food, but you know what? I think we'll be okay. Let's instead, we'll just make a couple of roasted neeps. Why not? Salmon made for hollowed meat and some rush lights. Oh, okay. Yeah, so Halloween. That must be part of the Halloween update. Obviously hadn't seen that since then. But things are going pretty well, you know. Managed to catch that fox, butcher them up, and get a nice little bit of stuff together. As it stands, we've got a couple of these ice jugs. These ice jugs are actually very, very useful. What we'll probably do is if we can remove this food stockpile, we might try and see if we can build a little storage bit here in that. Well, we're gonna get rid of this work zone because we can get rid of it now, and we can get rid of this since we get our toilet functioning. So that means as soon as we get our pots done, which we're gonna need some more clay for, so we'll get some more clay. Thank you very much. And did the trader have anything else? No, we'll just tell him to go away. We're all right for just now. Meanwhile, people just working away. There we go. That's the sleep mat done. So we'll just build 2 straw beds here. And we'll say, hey, put down this other bed. Where do we want to put it? We'll just put it on over here just now so people can use it if they need to, if we have another visitor. And we'll say, hey, I want to do this. As a matter of priority, I want to make sure that people have enough space to go there. How are we doing for charcoal? Yeah, we're doing alright. It's probably because we're out of clay. Just running a little bit low. That's why it's coming up over here. People drinking away at the old water dippers. That's fine. And overall, things going pretty well. We've got a lot of hides, which is really, really nice. So we can potentially start to think more about making some more clothes. As it comes for people's warmth, kind of as they're working inside, you can see here, nice and happy. And we've managed to actually unlock a straw double bed. These beds are really good because they give you more sleep than one of these double sleep mats. So we shouldn't have as much problem with people being a little bit ornery because of lack of sleep, or sleeping in a little bit and not getting enough of the good light during the day to get stuff done. Everything looking quite nice for just now. We might build another one of these little cabins a little bit further down, like maybe over here. I was thinking that it would look quite nice over here, but there is all that rabbit spot. We could delete that, to be fair. Anis is actually the human who owns the cat, so you know what? We'll actually just say, hey, as much as it's not a very good idea to have your little cat area next to your baby, we'll just put that over there. We can find the cat bed. Where about is the cat bed? I thought it would have been hunting, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we haven't quite unlocked it yet. Which is weird that we've got the dog bed, but we don't have the cat bed. We probably need to build another trough or something like that. That's probably what it is. Yeah, we probably should think about building up a little hay trough. We'll put that over here by the peat stove. And that'll at least make sure that people can, or the animals can get their stuff there. Ah, it's the beavers. Spy some beavers. The beavers live in the dam. In the lake here, the lake's frozen over. That means we're perfect time to try and hunt them if we want to. Unfortunately, we've lost a little bit of wool there, which I'm not too happy with. It's one of the reasons why we have the sheep in the first place, is to get their wool. Surprised you can't actually milk the sheep as well. Obviously you can milk the cows, but milking sheep, milking goats. If you haven't tried goat butter, by the way, goat butter, fantastic. Really, really enjoy it. Very, very nice. Tastes kind of strange, but in a good way. Thinking about it, any visitor who comes here is going to hate this bed because it's sitting right in front of the tile peat stove. Anywhere else, and they wouldn't really mind so much because it's pretty low light, or it's at least not too bad in terms of the light, whereas here they're just going to be disturbed the entire night because they're going to be sitting there like, ah, great. Okay, you're filthy. Yeah, we kind of need to work on getting a little bath together if we can. But doesn't look like we've been able to do that quite yet, but that's not a problem. Could build some bowls. Yeah, why don't we get 5 bowls together? We can just do that off of our little workbench here. Workbench is going to be much better than our previous area. And you know what? Why don't we build ourselves... We could build ourselves peat walls. Yeah, we're going to convert this area into kind of a peat wall kind of place. There we go. We'll deconstruct these other walls when we get a second. Especially once we get our chamber pots made. We should hopefully get done sooner rather than later. We're just a little bit low on charcoal. And we had some other hens that are born. So we got another chick. Female one. Good. That's good. Means we can continue getting some eggs. And other than that, we're just kind of sitting pretty. Got 10 days worth of food. We're already on night 2 of winter. Out of a total of 10. So I'm feeling pretty good how things are going. In fact, let's start day 3 as we say it. So yeah, overall things going pretty well. We've managed to build ourselves a little hay trough. Now, I want to have a little double check as to why we can't build a cat bed. There we go. So we need to build a clothing basket. Ah, okay. So because we haven't got the clothing basket yet, it's saying we can't build a cat bed. Yeah, we'll just build a clothing basket here. It makes sense to put it in some of the bedrooms just so people can store their clothes there. We'll do that at high priority because I want to make sure that we get our little kitty cat somewhere safe to go. Little kitten. There we go. You can even follow him with the camera. He's just sitting there. Meow. As he goes. You can also tame cats around the map, so if there's wild cats about, if you leave out food for them, eventually they'll self-tame and come and join you, which is always nice. Could be a good idea to do that if we can get some kind of queen, just to, so we can get other little kittens, but we'll do that maybe when he's of age. There we are. So now we can build ourselves a little cat bed, build that in the room so the cat and the dog can sleep together. As far-fetched as it seems, it can happen. Oh, and there we go. So we could buy another tomcat, an adult tomcat, or we can buy a senior bull. Not really seeing the use for it. Normally I'd be buying the straw, but again, not really seeing the use of it. We'll sell a bunch of our wood ash. We're not really using it for tannery stuff just yet. And it does get us a little bit of money. Speaking of cats, ours has arrived at my feet. In case you could hear that little meow there. But no matter. Little Ember is obviously jealous of all the stuff that Tomcat done. If you want to be... Anybody wants to think about the name for these cats as well, let us know down in the comments. We can always rename them. Now, as it stands, we've got the charcoal coming in. Good, now that we've actually mined up some of that clay. We get pet food bowls and water bowls. Now that we've managed to get ourselves a little cat bed. There's a rabbit running about here. Managed to dodge all the traps. Bit of a shame. But the good thing is, despite it being winter, obviously we have access to these beavers. If we want a little bit of extra food, we can hunt for them. Still got some deer around, surprisingly. I haven't seen any wolves either, which is good for us. If there's any wolves about in the map, they could cause some issue with our livestock. Fortunately, we do have the dog to help defend. But overall, it just seems to be mostly things like foxes. So, as of just now, we don't have to worry too much, which is good. We can see here that this our movement speed is getting a little bit slowed because of the snow. It's just going to happen. Nothing that you can really do about it. We could make some brose, some porridge, just so we can have something else to eat. But as it stands, we don't really need to worry about it. I'd rather try and save our oat grains if we can for the spring, because we're going to be wanting to build a nice big farm. And the real question is, where is that going to go? Potentially out over here. We've obviously got this peat area over here, but it'd be nice if we can like just prepare a nice big farming area, which I might try and see if we can do over the course of winter. Get some nice stone fences here. I'm going to put that down and around. There we go. That seems like pretty extensive and actually into the peat area over here, so maybe a little bit too extensive. We'll just have to kind of shuggle around the peat, I think. There we go. Make it look a little bit more natural rather than just a square. There we go. Perfect. We'll just tell them to not bother with these other ones. Yeah, cancel build walls, don't demolish them. They're not being built yet, so we can't demolish them. So yeah, we'll build up this kind of little area here. We'll think about where we want to put our little walls or our branch gates. I think probably like here and here. Then we can build a little pathway as well. A little gravel path that kind of runs down center of the farm, and then we can start thinking about tilling the soil here. Probably a bit hard to do just now, just because obviously it's quite cold. But I'm sure they'll be fine. The spring, we can just till that. Besides, there's plenty of other stuff to do. At the moment, a lot of hauling to do, a lot of building to do. Still got to build this other room. but we're doing okay in terms of our resources. There's nothing really to worry about. Maybe lacking a little bit of stone in that we only have 100 on backup, but you know what, actually I'm going to cancel these rest of these jobs for just now. We're not really building out any more paths, which was the main reason why we're needing stone before. We've got a little bit down here, but we should be okay. We've got another baby chicken, hurrah! Lots of chickens, probably too many chickens. Right, people warm on up, please. It is quite cold in here. I'm going to maybe say, hey, this tiled peat stove, just try and keep it lit for us. That's going to really improve the temperature in here and enable people to warm up quite a bit more than they were previously. And should mean that they're able to sleep a little bit better because it's nice and warm. Got ourselves this iron torch done as well, so when it gets to low light, people will be able to use that to kind of see a little bit better. The window's doing good enough for just now, although I do kind of wish that it was similar to the lighting fixtures where it kind of brings in light, where you kind of almost had the light coming in arcs. I hope they implement that in the future. I think that'd be quite nice for a more realistic kind of building rather than just having a single window. And that's that. Christian, you're now a juvenile. Fantastic. So a baby no more. A babe no more. That does mean that we are going to have a little bit of a think about where we're going to put your bed. I guess you'll probably go over here, but for now you'll probably be relegated to sleeping on the sleeping mat in front of the peat bit. I'm not sure that's a great idea. Maybe let's instead... We can probably just make it so it's more of a bunk, over here. We'll say, hey, you know what? Get this done. Matter of priority, just get that done. Good stuff. And we'll probably try and upgrade these beds when we get a second, but for just now, that'll have to do. There we go, we got a wool dressing, so now we can say, hey, we want to get clean wool, so anytime we get any of the raw wool off of our sheep, we're able to spin it into actual proper wool. We got a nice little traveler here. We've got 9 days of food left. We don't have any beds for you, unfortunately. You know what, we're going to have to ask you to leave. A little bit too late in the day to be thinking about supplying a bed for somebody. And you can see here, so when the torch comes in, we've now got firelight, except on this side here. We might have to build another torch over this side, but that's okay. It means that people can kind of work here if it needs to be. This wool dressing is actually too cold in here, which I kind of hope the torch would offset slightly, but it is just chilly. You can see outside currently, minus 16 degrees Celsius, a little bit nippy, whereas inside it's 18 degrees Celsius, probably a bit warm, to be brutally honest. But I'm sure people in here will be fine. Have a little sleep. Elspeth and his dog is actually, the dog is there, so we'll probably move her and the dog over to here when we get a wee second, once we manage to get this building done. Overall, we're having another little comfy night in this winter. Things haven't been too harsh on us. We've managed to prepare pretty well. We've actually got some pretty decent kind of buildings that are up. I do kind of want to build a little barn is the other thing. We'll maybe kind of do that as an offshoot of this area over here. Potentially actually just next to it. That would be quite nice if we build a barn over here for the animals, so we can have this more as a sort of dining room kind of area, or sort of like a common room where people can kind of come and chill out, and a little bit nicer than these sparks being thrown out at the sheep. But not to worry, we'll get that done sooner rather than later, or probably later rather than sooner, to be brutally honest. We've got plenty of things to do over the winter. We're just going to build away, make sure that we're getting these structures built and ready. I would quite like if we could, we have got those chamber pots, so we've managed to get the toilet done. Fantastic. So that means that we should get a bathtub. Indeed we have. The real question is where we're going to put the bathtub. We'll just put it kind of here, a bit more private than kind of putting it out here in front of all the animals. With a high priority, because we do probably want to get people into the bath sooner rather than later. It will make them a bit happier as well. The only problem is we just don't have the nails. Nails seem to be an issue because it does require 50 nails. The planks are fine. We've got plenty of planks, we've got plenty of wood, easy to get. Main problem that we're going to have here, because we're not really doing anything with the bog at the moment. Clanfolk dehydrated. Okay, let's make sure that we're getting ourselves some water jugs as well. And you know what? We'll just repeat this every day. Make sure that we're getting a lot of water together if people are getting a little bit dehydrated. There we go. So we should have people starting to smell this on out. Maybe actually just increase the power to that. There we go. Arthur's doing that just now. A trader over here. In the meantime, we can get a nanny goat. There we go. We could get ourselves a wee goat. There is another piglet, a sow. that we could also think about getting. We have a lot of peat bricks that we could sell. They are obviously quite handy because they are a fuel source, but maybe 500 is a bit much. We can always go out and grab some more so we can get money together. And you know what? I'm kind of tempted to get this little nanny goat. She's an adult. That's good. Yeah, let's do it. We've got ourselves another little goat. Got ourselves a veritable flock of animals. Now the good thing about the nanny goat is we are able to milk them, so we'll be able to milk them for some goat's milk. Again, I do wonder why we can't do that with the sheep, but hey ho. We got wool out of them, I suppose, so maybe this is just a bit overpowered, but sheep are overpowered in real life. That's why everybody loves sheep. Plus, they're very cute, if a little bit dopey. In the meantime, we're just building things on up, we're getting things together, we're making sure that we're actually getting these water jugs ready, seeing as these ones are frozen outside, and this one is even frozen inside, which is going to be a very good tactic for the future. So when we expand this area on out, because of the fact that these ice jugs are really good, they cool any room that they're placed in. That lets us actually make a small refrigeration unit just using ice. Oh, and would you look at that, we have a whole bunch of piglets. There we go. This one's a juvenile, so you know what? Off the chopping block for you. We'll get some meat out of you, we'll get some more skins out of you. I thought Arthur was going to go and get rid of them there, but no, he was just going to have a bath. And there we are, look at all that beautiful, lovely meat. A little bit of pluck as well. Just haul that on away, and we can make some nice meals out of that. We've got plenty of food just now. We've got 50 smoked meat. We're probably mostly living off of our dried mushrooms, indeed we are. A couple of neeps as well that we could use. But overall, things looking pretty good. There we are. Cook yourself up some meat. Why not? Got plenty of it. Could do with some more smoked meat as well, so we'll just grab that on away and get that cooked up. Overall, we're about nearly halfway through winter, and we're doing absolutely fine in terms of food. Got a good stockpile. Worst comes to worst, we've got plenty of animals we could slaughter. We've still got plenty of fuel for the tiled peat stove, and we've even got plenty of branches as well for the normal fireplace. So as we can see, even though it is pretty chilly outside, we've managed to get through what you could probably say is the worst part of winter, and we're actually just fine. So good stuff, guys, good stuff. Tell you what, we're going to gravel up this path over here, and we're actually going to make kind of almost like a little plaza. It's going to take us a little while to get the stone for that, but we'll worry about that later. The main thing is that we're still just working away. We kind of got this area over here. You know what? We're going to get rid of this closed zone. There we go, get rid of it. And we're just going to, if we're going to do anything, we're going to be doing it off the tannery bit. I think that makes the most sense. Or sorry, not the tannery bit, the tailor's bit. Because the tailor bench obviously works far faster than the sort of on the ground close area. Now we could also build ourselves a little clay pit, just to give us a permanent source of clay, so we don't have to keep coming along and doing the action there. Now we can build a path there, so yeah, I think that's actually a very good place to do it. Because we can put that there, it means that we're not having to walk too much over the clay bit. Probably build a little bridge over here as well, when we get a wee second. But we don't have to worry about that for just now. The main thing is we're also making up these nice little water jugs too, just to give us a little bit of a hand getting things done. Got a good little dog. The cat's come back. You can always tell that she's coming back when you hear the thunder of little paws coming up the stairs. Isn't that right, Dan? And this is what I get for leaving my door open when I've recorded. But hey ho, what are you gonna do? Hey. And now she wants to come up and obviously interrupt the recording, but no matter. We're getting through it. And Clanfolk's a little bit, it's more of a laid back kind of area, you know, you can just sit here, you can watch the little people working. It's quite nice. It's why I like kind of games like this, like it's not as stressful as RimWorld. RimWorld, you do have to worry about the combat, whereas in this it's more about the elements, a bit careful planning and some forethought, and you should be alright. Even in the sort of harshest environments, which is winter, although winter is pretty harsh, but spring's actually surprisingly harsh too. You'd think the sort of time when it's like, oh well, plants are growing, that's good. It takes time for plants to grow. So you might be good enough to get through winter, but do you have long enough to then be able to get through the through the spring as well. Sorry, the cat was coming up to the microphone. There you go, Don. And now she's standing on the keyboard. Okay. There may sometimes be stuff that stops you recording, but we'll just power on through. It's fine. We are out of hay, so that is a little bit worrying that we're already out of hay for our animals, because there won't be anything for them to eat really out and about. So I'm not particularly happy with that, to be perfectly honest. That is a little bit worrying. We're also out of flax. Fortunately, we have plenty of straw, so that is good. Oh, there we go. Day 25. Good stuff. Alright. Continue working, guys. We'll have to maybe kind of reconvene about the animals. Hopefully they won't get too hungry. If they do, we will have to start cutting down the herd just ever so slightly. How are people doing for warmth? They're doing okay. It could be worse. Apologies if you can hear any purring at the moment. But no, things are going okay. We've got plenty of food for our people. Maybe not so much for our animals. We also don't have any bog iron left, so we could send somebody off out to the bogs to gather a little bit more peat, but it's just so snowy. It's going to be so hard for them to get there. This is why you should keep your door closed when you're recording, I suppose. Hey, little pussycat. She's just being a menace in the background. If she came up and sat on me, I wouldn't mind, you know, she has done that in the past. But just now, she's being a little bit of a menace. No mind, we're going to get a hide scraper. It means that we can, instead of just having to rely on fur clothes, we can make leather clothes. So we can scrape the hide, scrape the fur off the hides and kind of just make leather goods out of it. But overall, things are going pretty well. A little bit running low on stone, so we'll just say, hey, I know we got rid of these gravel pews, but we'll just get a little bit more. Why not? There's not really anywhere that has iron nearby, I think. There is this iron over here. Interesting. Okay, well, we'll actually just grab this. It's actually a decent pile of iron ore. It'd be hard to kind of get this through the snow. So I doubt anybody's going to go over there and do it immediately. But that's fine. Okay, so we can actually say, hey, if we've got less than 200 clay, start mining up some clay. And that means that we've now automated the fact that we don't need to continuously come over here and say, hey, dig up this clay, you know, use a bunch of people to do it. It's now just, whenever it happens, just come over here, mine a little bit of clay, and that'll be you. And we can make fancy wooden floor and fancy tile floors. Very, very nice. And even make some wood windows. So these do improve the environment. If the environment is good in a place, people obviously get a bit happier, their mood goes up. The mood's high, then they work faster. Right now, as we can see, everybody's not feeling particularly great about stuff. You know, moods are pretty far down. Anis is doing pretty well, actually. She is an optimist. She's well fed. She's had a really good talk, so she's quite happy at the moment. And yeah, she's quite cheerful. So she's actually having the best time out of everybody, which is always good. I guess other people maybe not having quite so good a time. Yeah, she seems to be the outlier. Everybody else is pretty miserable. But it is cold, you know. Yeah, it's pretty cold. It's not particularly nice. Cat is able to get through here, so that's good. We may break down this double sleeping mat. We'll do that as a matter of urgency. Same with the sleeping mat over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to build ourselves up some good beds. So we get a straw double bed there, and we'll get ourselves another nice straw bed there. And we'll actually say, hey, I want this to be pretty quick. Hopefully we have enough nails. We do indeed. Good stuff. So we have enough nails to do this, so people should be able to build this up pretty quick. And it'll mean that people are able to sleep a little bit better. People are complaining a little bit about the temperature inside the rooms themselves. They're fine. Here we go. Somebody's starving. Why are you starving? We have plenty of food. You just haven't managed to go over there and grab it. You do, to be fair, you do have a fast metabolism, so that does mean that you go through food a little bit quicker than other people. The main thing is we managed to get it sorted out. As for these rat traps, we don't really have to worry about them from just now because, fortunately, we have a cat. Although they are still only a kitten, so I don't think they'll be hunting too much just yet. We are out of twine. Okay. Why are we out of twine? Let's say, hey, I want you guys to just quickly make this twine if you can, because people are going to need a bed for the night. Otherwise they're going to complain. There we go. Still out of twine, it looks like. Let's make a couple more. I know. Seems to be alright just now, so yeah, let's just, we'll make one more, and then we'll cancel the priority for that, and then hopefully we'll build up this bed, and that means that people have enough room to sort of sleep for the night. I was going to say I don't want to know why there's blood in the bathroom, but it's probably best not to know that. We'll just move swiftly on. But yeah, things are going pretty well. We still haven't run into any wolves, which will probably come kind of towards the later part of the winter, if there are any at all. I mean, to be fair, actually, with the inclusion of beavers, it's not quite as bad as it was previous. We can see over here. So there was a stag that was killed. Probably by you. There are wolves on the prowl. There's a male wolf and a female wolf here. They're doing okay at the moment. They're pretty well fed. They must have just killed that deer. So we will keep a little eye on them. Hopefully they won't try anything with our livestock. We do have the dog to help scare them off, but we'll just have to see. A little bit too far away to go hunting them either. We'll just kind of keep our distance and see how we do. But yeah, things overall going pretty well. We've managed to build up our little kind of production area over here, or at least a little hovel where people can kind of work a little bit better. Still quite cold outside, 16 degrees. I don't want to send you away, my man, but we might have to. Ah, that's not very good of me, is it? Yeah, you know what? We'll have to build you just a little sleep zone. You can stay for the night. It feels, it'd be pretty cruel, you know, it's sunset, it's minus 19 degrees Celsius. I kind of think you have to let this guy in. You know, he's gonna die otherwise, so them's the breaks. Now we could get ourselves a couple of decorative hides, which you can actually put on your beds, just to make them look a little bit nicer, to kind of improve the room. Currently, this room in here, I think is doing okay. It's alright in terms of its environment, but it's not particularly great. This room, yeah. None of the rooms are particularly great. This one is horrible, because, yeah, I mean, it's full of smelly, stinky animals. So, of course it is. You'd be surprised if people were saying, oh yeah, I quite like this room. And people are still using that. I guess we're out of chamber pots. Okay. So we do need to make ourselves some more chamber pots, which we will do. Probably we have full chamber pots and we haven't emptied them yet, so we do need to think about things like fertilizer. Which I guess we could kind of put a little thing over here for that. So yeah, let's get ourselves a composting bin. We can put that out over here. There we go. That's something we can work on in the future. Everybody's in bed at the moment, and you know what? That is day 6 of winter. We're doing pretty well. We've got a lovely little guest here as well, who of course stole one of our good beds. But I think we'll call this part of Clanfolk to a close. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying this, and looks like we're doing alright in winter at this moment. If you are enjoying this and want to support the channel further, consider becoming one of the Burger Band for additional benefits, such as being able to access videos as soon as they're uploaded, rather than when their schedules come out. But I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. And until next time, take care.